How should the city of Springfield deal with problem property landlords? Should there be a city landlord registry to include not just those out-of-state or out-of-area landlords, but even those landlords within the city limits? And what about the size of the property? Should it only be for apartment complexes of more than 50, or should it be for single-family units that have landlords as well? This is going to be an ongoing conversation as alderpeople and city officials work to try to clean up neighborhoods and get rid of some of those problem properties. So I want to hear from you at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here, live and local, with Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. During the council roundup, we read some of the comments that were coming in via the live stream on YouTube and Facebook, and the comments continue coming in. Again, King Albee says, I think the issue is the amount of large businesses that are building apartment buildings, communities that you can't own any of it, and it is rented out solely by those same developers. Others saying that if you have a paint peeling or a foundation crack, or maybe your grass is too long, and the city starts fining you for rent, or starts fining you for that, rent will go up. Others saying some of these landlords are janky AF. And we'll just leave that there. Keeping deposits when people leave apartments cleaner than when they moved in. It's one example they give. Another's disagreeing with Alderman Ralph Hanauer. Seniors in nursing homes on fixed income can't do this. That's like adding salt into a wound. Find another solution. Another user on YouTube saying that they're with Alderman Hanauer. Enforcement of current ordinances over new bureaucracy. Others agreeing with Alderman Roy Williams Jr., saying that they agree with him wanting to create a landlord registry of sorts. So what do you think? 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. Another commenter here on Facebook says, oh, Aaron, probably not a good look for you. Never raise your voice a little. Hence, you don't want to sound like a Karen. All right, so that's a commenter from Facebook. Other one from YouTube, Alderman Williams doesn't seem to understand the ordinance that he introduced for debate. Facebook comment says, debate on this some more. I agree with Alderman Roy Williams Jr. Another YouTube user saying, should be a tenant registration, so when they move out of the middle of the night and go to another house, you can get back rent before screwing another landlord. So obviously there's a lot of different comments coming in. I want to hear from you at 217-629-7970. Where do you stand on this? And not just for the city of Springfield. I mean, we've got listeners all across the state, quite frankly. How are they dealing with it in your community? Do you have the same problems? Do you have landlords that are letting the grass get too long? Or as we heard during debate of the council meeting, landlords that let their properties get dilapidated, and then you've got raccoons and possums and God knows what else crawling out from underneath the crawl space while you're trying to have a nice barbecue for a holiday weekend. How should this be dealt with? Is it a matter of increasing fines and penalties and having that stack up and go onto a tax bill if they don't pay it? Or should there be a registry that the city maintains that allows them to better go after some of these problem property landlords? Again, 217-629-7970. That's your phone number here. Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. You can also email bishoponair@gmail.com, or you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and on the YouTube and Facebook streams. A lot of comments coming in, so be sure to sound off and make your voice heard. But where do you stand on this? A landlord registry? Is that the answer? Is that the solution? Or is the solution to have more strict code enforcement? If that's the case, we're going to have to hire more code enforcers to go out and step up and actually go after some of these problem properties. And you got to think, too, what's the threshold for when you get certain types of actions? Is it going to be, oh, your grass is too high, and that's the measure that people go after? Or is it more about the structural integrity of the building and ensuring that we don't have buildings falling apart and causing all kinds of public health concerns? 217-629-7970. Let's get to your phone calls here on WMAY. Good morning. Thanks for calling in. You're on the air. What's up?
Yes. We have a house in our neighborhood. Their garage just caved in, and this is 6 years ago. They took him to court. They had a man come over. He didn't have a ladder. He climbed on our garage. He was drinking beer. He didn't fix it because a month later, the garage roof started caving in again. They've been to court, I think 6 or 8 times. City court, I think 6 times. 2 times to county court. And it's still going on. So they said, well, the city's going to cut it, take it down. Well, that's been 6 years, and it's still up. Plus, they've never mowed the grass. The city comes twice a year to mow the grass. There's people living there, and no garbage pickup.
Well, I think the first thing, red flag, is that whoever got up onto the roof was drinking beers. That's probably why it didn't get fixed. But I think the second red flag is 6 years you've been having to deal with this in your neighborhood.
Yes, with raccoons and rats and caving in. But I called my insurance to ask. It's going to cave in on my garage.
Wow.
They said, well, we can't do nothing. When it caves in, then we'll have to fix your garage and probably buy us a new car if it caves in. You can't, we need to keep our lawnmower and stuff someplace in a garage,
Something.
And if it damages a garage, you have insurance, then we'll go after that person.
Well, and you raise something else. I appreciate the call, and you raise something else, too. It's not just the questions of insurance. It's also the question of property valuation. And when you've got a neighborhood and 70% of those in the neighborhood are really taking good care of their property, they have pride of ownership, but then the other 30% are letting their properties fall apart, that's going to bring down the property values of all of those other properties, and that's a big problem because that impacts a whole host of things, not just quality of life, but it also impacts how much tax dollars are going to the local taxing bodies like school districts, for instance. 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Well, I will be at the meeting next week because I'm going to call in and ask to speak. I live in a apartment building of seniors and disabled, 150 units. Our landlord is out of state. I've written myself at least 6 letters about people smoking in the building, and we had to sign no smoking agreements. Most of the people here pay close to $1,000 a month to live here. We do have some HUD, and unfortunately now, again, when I signed my lease, it was 55 and over. We have 28-year-old drug addicts living in the building, and we've tried to find out what HUD rules are. So this has been going on a year, and I've gone, I have talked to everybody. I feel like I'm getting someplace now, but the point of the matter is when you have out-of-state, they're in Florida, they don't reply to your letters. They don't listen to what you say. We had snow on the ground here for 3 days, and it happened that a gentleman that has one leg, his mother died during that time, had to walk through that snow to his car. So there's going to be lots of stuff for the aldermen to do and people to talk to that are out of state.
Well, that's an understatement. A lot of stuff for the aldermen to do. They're going to be full with all kinds of complaints as they regularly talk about at city council meetings. So obviously something that will require more discussion and more debate, and we'll see just where that goes. Appreciate